Angular black spot disease destroys over 4,000 acres of mango farms in Kintampo municipality of the Bono-Ahafo region.
Child marriages on the rise in Nkwanta South and Kajebi districts of the Volta region.
Later in sports, Black Stars suffer 1-0 defeat against Kenya in a 2019 Cup of Nations qualifier.
And on the international front, Egyptian court confirms death sentences on 75 people and life imprisonment for 47 others after a pro-Muslim Brotherhood sit-in. Hello again. Remember, the news is live on channel 279 on DSTV. Let's start the stories now. 5 persons suspected to be members of a car stealing syndicate have been arrested in the Yilo-Krobo district of the Eastern region. They are driver Abaji Tete, 42 years, Solomon Kojo, who is 24, a scrap dealer, Latif Al-Hassan, 22 years, Francis Sam, 39, and Kwesi Nyamiche, a sprayer. The Eastern Region Public Affairs Officer, Ebenezer Tete, says the arrests were made on Sunday at dawn between Somanya and Ashaiman. Latif Al-Hassan, who is a scrap dealer and stays around Ashaiman East, bought 2 salon vehicles from Abaji Tete and Kojo Solomon at a total cost of 5,000 Ghana cedis. He resold one of the vehicles to Francis Sam, who resides at Weja, for 10,000 Ghana cedis. The other vehicle, allegedly belonging to one Kwesi Nyamiche, has been retrieved from a spraying shop in Accra. Police has begun further investigations which will lead to prosecution.
And a 27-year-old suspect, Solomon Ejare, has been arrested for possessing 12 slabs of dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp at the Nkrakan checkpoint in the Yilo-Krobo municipality of the Eastern region. Now, police say on September 7 this year at about 4:55 p.m., police personnel on duty at the checkpoint stopped the driver of a Hyundai H100 with registration number GS9031 from Klo Agogo to Koforidia and conducted a routine check. The suspect, sensing danger, tried to escape, but he was overpowered by other policemen on duty. A search on the vehicle revealed 12 slabs of dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp concealed in 2 fertilizer sacks and 1 gallon of local drink popularly known as akpedishi. The suspect has been detained and the exhibit sent to the police forensic laboratory for examination.
Now, angular black spot disease has affected and destroyed over 4,000 acres of mango farms in the Kintampo municipality. The disease was first detected within the municipality in 2012.
The disease first develops from the leaves through the branches and finally infests the fruits. A deputy minister for agriculture, George Boahin Odro, and other officials of the ministry were in the municipality to deal with the situation.
And the government is in to assist them to eradicate the disease.
Over 90% of their fruit had been affected. According to the farmers, the little that were harvested could not fetch them much income. The Kintampo Municipal Chief Executive, Bafo Sarkodie, hinted of plans to establish a multi-purpose factory.
Predominantly we farm mango, and therefore if we're able to put up a factory here that will, buy mango from the mango farmers, the better, so that we keep the incidence of, post-harvest loss.
The availability of vast tracts of arable land in the area on which mangoes thrive has made the municipality one of the leading producers from which the assembly generates much of its income.
Now, residents of North Legon in Accra fear a much more worse disaster could happen around the Atomic Junction area if authorities do not check a development in the area. 2 passenger lorry stations, a fuel station and structures springing up on the shoulders of the major road poses severe threats to lives and property.
October 7, 2017, Ghana was thrown into a state of mourning and fear after a gas and fuel station exploded twice, killing some people. Others sustained permanent injuries. Cars were burnt to ashes. Some persons who escaped death say they are still recovering from the shock.
We saw this thing coming. We complained about it. We wrote to the assembly that there is danger looming. People selling roasted plantain there, saw the gas working, and at the other end too, we saw another filling station. And we knew that, and there was a trotro and taxi rank just in the middle of these two places.
But it appears lessons have not been learned. An unauthorized lorry station has been created and a fuel station erected, all under the atomic overpass. Pedestrians say drivers operating in the area are careless, even with police officers at post. Vehicular traffic build up here, it's unbearable.
So when you're coming back, the traffic is awful. But in this place have come a number of other structures. In the evening when you go there, vehicles are parked on both sides. But are we going to wait till there's another explosion? And then if there's an explosion, would people be able to move freely away from that junction?
Dr. Frederick Ado Abedi points out gaps in the architectural design of the atomic overpass and roads connecting the area.
The country is bleeding slowly. The design of the runabout may have to be looked at. The egress, that is how people exit the runabout going towards the community and beyond, should probably also be looked at.
If only there could be a bypass created in front of the two filling stations to carry the traffic away, so that the jam from IPS into the interchange runabout and the jam from the Agbogba junction into the interchange will also ease. But when will this be done?
Although the area where the gas explosion occurred has currently been cordoned off, residents fear the owners may be rebuilding the gas station and call on authorities to keep monitoring developments.
And now, did you know that your pair of shoes should conform to some standards, irrespective of the brand? Well, for some shoe lovers, standard is not a priority, but availability and affordability. Grace Hamo Asare has the rest of the story.
Checked. Only 5 met Ghana standards for footwear. And our standards, the Ghanaian standards for footwear, is very similar to the British standards, but with local adaptation to suit our needs. People don't realize that the footwear you wear can damage your health seriously if it doesn't meet the standards. And we've heard of people complaining about back pains, hip pains, neck pains. All this is happening because at the end of the day, we haven't conformed to standards.
Oh yes, you heard right. Be it Louis Vuitton, Gucci, River Island, Marc Jacobs, or even our very own Kumasi-made, those pair of shoes should conform to some standards. Combing through the shoes hub of the Central Business District, the reaction to this was mixed.
Quite recently, when I heard about compliance from those who deal in electricals, then I also had a win that every item should comply to standards.
Some do. Some are not interested. And some Ghanaians don't really like to research or even find time to know what I am buying. Anything goes. But others would want, this is how I want it, and this is exactly what I want.
It's been into existence before these Chinese people bring these inferior goods. So when people come, they ask of the quality and the brand where exactly our shoes are coming from.
For most of these shoe dealers, they rather sell based on customer demand and not according to standards.
Someone would come with a picture, I want this shoe. I have a similar, no, this is what I want. And when they find what they want and it's of the quality they want, definitely they go for it.
Some people also, when they come to buy the shoe, most of them didn't ask us where it comes from. So we show them the difference between the standard one and then the low cost one. The one which you like, then we sell it to you.
So, who owns that quality shoe? And as a customer, what do you look out for?
I look at the quality. I don't care about the price. If I check the quality and it's good for me, I'll buy it, no matter what the price.
Martin wants to deal with that.
I have heard about the standards, but I don't comply. I buy according to what I need and can afford.
Well, it's obvious convenience, affordability, and availability override standards, and you will have to make your choice. Grace Hamwa-Sari, TV3 News.
Well, in other news this evening, farm produce at Bontibo in the Nkwanta South municipality of the Volta region have been left to rot on farms. A bridge linking Bontibo to other communities caved in last year.
We are making a journey to Bontibo, one of the deprived communities in the Nkwanta South municipality. The community is not easily accessible as vehicles hardly visit. So living in this community is only by the strong-willed. The community's inaccessibility is due to a collapsed bridge. The collapse of the bridge occurred in June last year after the River Jele overflowed its banks during a torrential rain. This has affected all business activities in the community.
This was put in 1988 when that they stored this bridge with the plant pools. And then we were told that within 50 years time before something will happen like this. Exactly 30 years now. Look at where we are. Today being the market day, if you go to the market, there is no vehicle that can pass through the bridge before coming down to the community. So the community is very stranded.
Residents through communal labor have improvised and built a temporary structure to facilitate movement. This is the second improvised structure after the first one was washed away by floodwaters. The state of this temporary structure poses a threat to users.
People, they will start be going to school now, whereby the teachers will be coming down. Are they passing with their motorbikes? What are they going to do?
Bontibo, a developing ancient community of about 1,500 people, is predominantly a farming community, but most matured field crops are left unharvested because farmers struggle to cut their produce to other communities for sale. As a result, only small quantity of goods are carried at a time.
I have harvested pear, but because the bridge is broken, I can't sell them at Bontibo. My son and I are carrying little of the harvest home to serve those in my community.
The news team followed some farmers to their farms. They have no proper storage facility, and so maize kept in barns are asked to be sent home.
For now, yes, to say customers be later. We
have stored our produce, hoping customers will come and buy, but they are getting rotten in the barn. The road is preventing buyers from coming.
Transportation means of transport.
These farmers are fortunate to own motorbikes. This is a 6-acre cassava farm. It is matured but has been left in the bush simply because a footbridge that is supposed to facilitate carting of farm produce to the market centers for sale has broken down. Thursday was the community's market day, but the market was virtually devoid of activity when the news team arrived. We were told people from 8 communities used to trade here, but the state of the bridge has stopped them.
Oh, you 5 million. When the market was vibrant, I made 500 cedis each market day, but now I hardly make 20 cedis. This is because people don't visit the community.
An alternative route is through Pusupu, through Breweniasi from Nkwanta, some 35 kilometers away. The assemblyman for the area explains the difficulty in using the stretch.
We sometimes pass from Bontibo to Pusupu, Pusupu to Breweniasi, and then to Nkwanta, which costs a person about 20 Ghana cedis before reaching down to Nkwanta. And then if the person sells his things, he uses the money to pay the vehicles, the transportation before coming down. There is nothing that we can do.
Residents want the bridge fixed to facilitate their activities. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Bontibo, Inquanta South.
And from Bontibo, let's talk about masquerading or fancy dressing, which forms part of festive occasions, particularly in Fanti communities in the central and western regions. In the following report, Adwa Adobia also takes a look at the display inspired by color, music, dance, and awe.
Referred to locally as Kakamotubi, their display could also be in the form of competition between groups. Participants wear specially tailored costumes with the designs for each group kept top secret until their first public showing. Traditional raffia masks are facing competition from Western style masks, which some prefer because they are scarier.
Masquerades led traditional leaders during festive occasions to scare people and prevent them from getting close.
The groups are open to everyone despite one's age. The celebration is spontaneous. People line the streets to watch their spectacular display, some of whom are on stilts. Stilt walkers are highly sought after, giving groups an easily recognizable mascot for their parades.
Most of the will be a musician be often or Kutaperi, cross no ashim or Kayankunu.
These days, a lot of people get involved and a lot more requests for our services.
Many put powder on their faces to stop them sweating too much under their mask. History has it that the British and the Dutch who introduced the festivity wore assorted masks and colorful costumes to celebrate the new year.
During the Christmas season, it brings the youth of Cape Coast together.
Well, it's quite a fall there. But let's now turn to the aviation sector, as government is yet to make a decision on applications from 3 prospective airline operators who have applied to be strategic partners for the proposed home-based air carrier. Aviation Minister Joseph Kofi Adda also hinted of government's intention to float shares in the yet-to-be-established home-based air carrier.
The 3 interested airlines are Air Mauritius, Ethiopian Airline, and indigenous carrier Africa World Airline. Government decided to opt for a home-based carrier instead of a national airline to avoid experiences that led to the collapse of the former Ghana Airways company in 2004. However, nearly a year following interest shown in the home-based carrier, government is yet to make a firm decision.
We haven't fixed the percentages yet, but we're looking at something like what other countries have done, anywhere between some 10, 15, 20% to be owned by the states, and then the rest of it will be sold out to whoever wishes to invest.
Parliament in mid-2017 passed a resolution to allow the Aviation Ministry commence the establishment of a national carrier following feasibility studies and work done by the Ministry of Transport.
What the government is doing, looking at the partnerships from a strategic point of view. The state cannot do everything on their own. We won't have all the resources to do that. But if we have strategic partners who also have funds that they want to invest into the home-based carrier, they're welcome to do that.
The collapse of the Ghana National Airline, Ghana Airways Company, and later the Ghana International Airlines were due to gross mismanagement and abuse of state property. Nonetheless, government continues to invest and expand aviation infrastructure across the country. Government believes expansion of the aviation infrastructure cannot continue without a new national flag carrier with a new vision and strategy. The estimated 350 million people in West Africa hold enormous potential for the aviation sector, which can be harnessed by Ghana with the establishment of a home-based carrier.
And in a related development, the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority says prospective applicants to start domestic airlines must merge to ensure effective and productive business. Director General of GCAA, Engineer Simon Alote, disclosed this during a familiarization tour of the facility by the Aviation Minister, Joseph Kofi Adda.
The offices of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, GCAA, continue to be flooded with applications for license to operate new airlines. The airlines are seeking the license to operate both domestic and regional airlines. At least nearly 10 applications, including Ashanti Airlines, Gold Coast Airlines, and Baby Jet Airlines, are currently being considered. There are hopes of more applications in the coming days. Director General of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, Engineer Simon Alote, insisted prospective individual applicants must reconsider their proposals.
What we are trying to avoid is to have a situation where we have too many domestic airlines that will be over competition and some may not survive. So we've started engaging them proactively to convince them to come together, merge, form bigger airlines to ensure survival and, sustainable operations.
Engineer Simon Alote, however, acknowledged the positive impact of competition on consumers.
Passion Air started with 3 daily flights to Kumasi with 250 cities one way and 402 cities return. And we've seen like a stimulation in air traffic operations to Kumasi, and there's been a reduction in airfares.
Aviation Minister Joseph Kofi Adda lauded efforts of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority.
People are able to operate in Ghana safely, in a secure airline environment. For all you know, a lot of business will be coming, and then young men and women will be engaged regularly. They will all be able to grow and have decent lives and raise good families, and then support the nation to become a real prosperous nation.
Later at a staff deba, Joseph Kofi Adda called for more open dialogue among the workers to help improve and maintain safety in the aviation industry.
Now, residents of North Legon in Accra are mourning world-renowned diplomat, the late Kofi Annan, in grand style. Houses and streets in the area have been cladded with national colors, with flags at half-mast in his honor. Eva Atibuka has the following report.
Development of the area started in the 1990s with the longest street named after the late UN diplomat Kofi Annan.
Kofi Annan didn't have any house here, but this residential area is solely for retired civil servants, those who've worked with the government and have retired, and they've built their residence here. And Kofi Annan, being a civil servant who is now rising to the topmost level, when he was appointed Secretary General of the United Nations, we deemed it fit that we will name the longest street in our community after him, to honor him, because he's one of us.
This area is one of the few places with an excellent layout in the country. Residents who helped plan the area say naming the area after the late Kofi Annan impacted greatly on the development of the area.
It's drawn some attention to our place, and although we haven't had the attention we think we deserve, a lot of people identify areas around here by referring to Kofi Annan. Even you go on Google, you find Kofi Annan Avenue on it. So it's quite a prominent avenue in the whole of Accra.
The demise of Kofi Annan therefore came to them as a shock. The Residents Association is commiserating with the family and the nation. They are considering a monument in the area in remembrance of the late Kofi Annan.
Can it be a library? Can it be just a bust? Can it be at the level crossing out there? Should it be some kind of just an object that will throw our minds back onto the man, and for that matter, the things that he has done for the country and for Africa, for the whole world?
Doesn't hope to keep the place neat, keep the road as neat as possible, befitting the name and stature of the man. That's the best tribute we can pay to him.
If you get something like a foundation, something like the University of Football, Ghana, you have Kofi Annan Cup, something to keep the name going, as far as because he was working the UN.
The residents say the demise of Kofi Annan remains a great loss for the entire African continent.
You're watching News 360. Let's take a look at what's still ahead tonight.
Child marriages on the rise in Nkwanta South and Kajebi districts of the Volta region.
Later in sports, Black Stars suffer 1-0 defeat against Kenya in the 2019 Cup of Nations qualifier.
An international news, Egyptian court confirms death sentences on 75 people and life imprisonment for 47 others over a pro-Muslim Brotherhood sit-in.
Stay with us here on News 360. We'll bring you the details of these stories shortly. Welcome back to News 360. Let's now get into our mission segment this evening, which is brought to you by Star Ghana with support from UK Aid, Danida and the European Union. We'll start off in health, as residents of Garipe in the Nanumba South District of the Northern Region have devised means to assist health personnel provide care to pregnant women. Stanley Niblo reports the area is earmarked as CHIP zone, but has no physical structure.
The Garipe community is inhabited by people from the Kunkumba tribe and are mainly farmers. The community is about 20 minutes drive from Wulensi, the Nanumba South District capital. Access to healthcare is a challenge. Garipe and 4 other communities have been demarcated for a CHIP zone but have no physical structure. Nurses are, however, deployed to provide healthcare to residents daily. For more than 2 years, healthcare was being administered to residents under trees until the community intervened by providing this place. But this intervention is not enough. The structure serves as an outpatient department, delivery room, consulting and pregnancy examining rooms, as well as storage facility. The room is stuffy and gets crowded whenever patients visit the facility for healthcare. Pregnant women and nursing babies suffer the most.
I don't know how to describe this structure, but this is what is serving residents of Garipe and beyond as a CHIPS compound. The heat alone emanating from this room adds up to their sicknesses.
This structure, even the heat that is blowing right now, and look at the drugs displayed. The potency of the drug is at stake. We have CHIPS compound, we call CHIPS compound under trees and CHIPS compound, but this one, cannot even classify as to whether it's a CHIPS compound under veranda or maybe a CHIPS compound behind somebody's house.
In the midst of lack of resources, health personnel here are giving up their best to save lives, but their efforts are being hindered.
Since when this clinic started, that was 2016. In fact, there has never been something like motorbike given to the clinic for us to run outreach programs. We are using our own Mapuka bikes, and you know the northern region, the roads in the northern region here, and then using Mapuka bike to access some of these inaccessible places is something that is hectic.
Health personnel manning the structure say expectant mothers do not often patronize the facility when they are due to deliver.
A woman giving birth in the house will take pride over the colleague who has gone to deliver in the health facility. So, I delivered in the house. That shows how strong or how healthy I am. But now, we at the grassroots level, is our responsibility, and we have taken it upon ourselves, and we are doing the sensitization that those are the things of the past. They should try and come. They shouldn't sit in the house to deliver so that they will take pride for delivering in the house.
Weighing is done under trees. Lack of accommodation for health caregivers also impedes service delivery, especially for night cases. The assemblyman for the area is one of the main opinion leaders who often meets to discuss means to improve healthcare in the area. He expressed worry about the difficulties residents endure to access healthcare. A resident from one of the hinterland communities bemoaned government neglect.
MP and this year didn't know you. Into brave, no, so many didn't know you.
Why do we have DCs and MPs? Don't they see the suffering we are going through?
District Chief Executive for Nanumba South attributes the district's inability to put up a decent chips facility to lack of funds. He said the assembly has several pressing projects, but inadequate funding has delayed their completion. The poverty rate at Garikpe is no different from other communities in the northern region. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Garikpe, Nanumba South.
Well, from healthcare, let's turn to education. As teachers and pupils at the Tikarini Evangelical Presbyterian School in the Pandai district of the northern region risk studying in a deplorable classroom months after portions of their roof was ripped off by a storm. Inadequate furniture also compels pupils to lie on the floor.
This is a routine academic exercise for kindergarten pupils of the Tikarini Evangelical Presbyterian Basic School. Although the school was preparing to go on vacation, teachers did not renege to execute their mandates. Established more than 2 decades ago, the school continues to serve more than 150 pupils from Tikarini and 4 other adjoining communities. However, lack of teaching and learning materials, coupled with abject poverty, have worsened the plight of the school. Class 4 pupils, for instance, use the Tikarini branch of the Church of Pentecost Auditorium for academic activities. They are ejected whenever the congregation wants to hold morning weekday service. The school has inadequate furniture. In some classes, it is a privilege for a pupil to sit on broken pieces of desk if the person comes to school early.
Most of the students, as we speak, when we are teaching, it is not easy for us to control them. And it is just because when they are to write, a lot of them, where to sit is a problem. Others ought to be on the ground. So how to even make them have a legible handwriting is a serious problem, which we are always encountering.
It's a Monday afternoon and latecomers have had to lie prostrate on floor for the day's academic work. But this is not their only problem. Authorities say enrollment has dwindled due to the existing hardship in the community. At Tikarini, parents give little attention to education. Illiteracy is high.
These textbooks I have with me here, I'm told are outmoded, but because the school has no supply of textbooks, they are compelled to fall on this. Some of the chapters and the units are torn out, and this, according to teachers, is affecting the way they teach.
Almost all the subjects, as we are speaking, you can go to a classroom, some there are about 5, some 6 or some 7. Some you will not even see a single out of the subject. Sometimes we do pay them, and by parents self, it is a serious problem.
Chairman of the Parent Teacher Association of the Tikarini School acknowledges the unpleasant situations the staff and pupils endure in the name of education, but says the community cannot do much because of poverty. For some pupils, the zeal to change society through education gives them the edge. Scarcity of water sources in the community has compelled pupils to bring their own water from home. In February this year, a rainstorm succeeded in ripping off portions of the school's roof. 3 months on, the roof has not been fixed. This exposed both teachers and pupils to danger.
The DCE came and we're told he was sent by the MP. With that, he made that of a carpenter to come. And we're told, he said the carpenter should give them estimate for that of the portion that was damaged. As of now, we have not heard anything from them.
Emmanuel Tatablata represents the central government in Pandai.
And we call on one carpenter to give us the estimate. He came with the estimate, but the estimate was not complete. He gave us the estimate without the zinc. We asked him to factor the zinc estimate to it so that we get it complete. So that as and when the common fund come, we will know how much we are allocating to that place, at least to be able to fix, the root of structure.
Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Tikarini, Bandai.
Well, clearly urgent action is needed to improve the situation at the school. And that's how we round up our mission segment this evening. It's brought to you by Star Ghana with support from UK Aid, Danida and the European Union.
In more news tonight, an economist and CEO of Claydot Consult, Professor Clement Dodonu, has advised politicians to see beyond the present and realize the future prospects of the double-track system. Meanwhile, a member of the NPP communications team, Eric Amakuchum, has said government should be commended for implementing the new two-track educational system in as much as lasting solutions are found to teething problems. The panelists were speaking on our current affairs program, New Day.
If you invest in education, you may not get the benefits right away. At least a minimum of 20 years will be expected for the returns to come.
So we should be patient as a country, whatever
Yes.
it is.
So I can see the future coming. I did the education as the driver of skilled labor, especially middle level skilled labor. And then I said, they are not going to be contributing immensely immediately. So let me go for 100-year bond.
And invest in education.
And you are going to retire that bond at the end of 100 years. But you are setting in place a specific target for that money. It's going to go into education, the benefits of which will start coming fully.
We would have challenges with the free SHS. We'll have challenges with a lot of things that we want to implement. But the president deserves commendation for showing the conviction. Because at the end of the day, he could have said that, oh, I've been given a 4-year mandate, my tenure ends in 2020, and I will start the thing at the 3rd year. And he could have done that. But he wanted to make sure that that is implemented in the very first year of his administration. And that is commendable. Education is key. And I believe that we need to be minded by that and eschew the unnecessary politicking out of it.
Traditional leaders in the Western region have commended the role of the oil and gas sector in the education of indigents. President of the Regional House of Chiefs and the Paramount Chief of Seshi Riaso Traditional Area, Ojia Hoho Yao JB II, predicts improved living standards in the region with a continuous support from the oil sector. He was speaking at a scholarships event for some 150 needy but brilliant students.
Traditional leaders in the Western region had demanded for a 10% of proceeds from the oil and gas production, as their communities will be bearing the brunt. They argued that in spite of being the biggest contributor to the national cake, the impact was not being seen in the region. He lauded the Aker Energy and the JMPC Foundation for their efforts at developing the human resource in the Western region.
I come from the northern part of the region. Bauxite mining was started in Awaso in 1940, BBN gold mine in 1925, Tapa before 1925, Obuasi also before 1925. And if all these companies had implemented what we are witnessing today, I believe a lot of our students, people from those areas, will be in very high places.
Aker Energy, an upstream oil and gas operator of the Deepwater Tano Cape 3 Point block, has provided scholarships to about 800 students in senior high school and nursing training colleges since 2012, working with the GNPC Foundation. Following the implementation of the free SHS policy by government last year, the program is now emphasizing on mentoring and counseling. Country manager of Aker Energy, Dan Helskogen, who claimed to be the son of fisherfolks, encouraged parents of the recipients to help their children with their education.
I will encourage all the parents sitting here
Encourage your young boys and girls. Try to meet their ambition, and they will have a good future. I ended up as a country manager in Ghana. I would have never believed that when I started my studies. So maybe among you, there is a future country manager for a Ghanaian company somewhere around the world.
The beneficiaries were grateful.
One thing that makes me happy to be under this scholarship program is that when you are an ACA scholar, they just don't leave you like that as any scholar. But from time to time, they come to the school, talk to you, encourage you to learn more.
Reporting for TV3 News, Irama Smith, Takrade.
And construction works on a 6-unit classroom block for the Aguna Safo AME Zion Basic School in the Aguna East District of the Central Region is almost complete. After reports by TV3 News on the poor state of the school building last year, the minister in charge of tertiary education, Professor Kwesi Yankah, facilitated efforts for the construction of a new school block. Here is Lucy Ayamle's report.
AME Zion Basic School, since its establishment in 1978, has not undergone any structural rehabilitation, hence the deterioration of the primary block. Students and teachers are unable to sit in class whenever it rains due to leaky roofs.
Because of the dilapidated nature of the building, when it rains, we have to stop the teaching and move to the lower primary. At times, after the rains, we are not able to teach again. We have to close. This affects our teaching and learning. Some of our textbooks get rotten because of the rains.
Students also fear the cracked walls might fall off and injure them. Access to furniture remains a problem, as some unlucky students had to devise ways of making a seat to write examinations. However, information gathered from the contractor working on the 6-unit classroom block indicates work is 95% complete on the new school block, which is expected to be ready by next academic year. The school block project, when completed, would promote academic work and increase enrollment in the school. Some of the students expressed excitement for the projects.
We are very excited to have this building. We thank government and TV3.
The assemblyman for the Aguna Safo electoral area is Robert Abegwansa.
We are very hopeful that our children in the community, everybody would rush to come to this school to access basic education. But it's always important to engage the media in achieving the kind of community successes that we want to achieve in the end. So I say a very big thank you to TV3 for making sure that our stories were covered, and then for government to also come to our attention and our assistance and aid to get this beautiful edifice for Aguna Safo.
The 6-unit classroom block with offices and an ICT laboratory is a Ghana-German government project.
You're watching News 360 and we have sports coming up next.
Now on to the president. President Akufo-Addo has returned from a 2-nation tour of China and Rwanda. President Akufo-Addo was in China at the invitation of the President of the People's Republic of China, Xi Jinping, where he paid a state visit and also participated in the China-Africa Forum. While in China, the president met with the Ghanaian community and in the country and also visited some leading companies in China, such as Alibaba, Huawei and Inspur Group Company Limited. Ghana and China also signed 8 memoranda of understanding during the visit. On the 6th of September, the president also visited Kigali, Rwanda, and participated in the African Green Forum Revolution Forum. President Akufo-Addo received the African Leadership University Award and participated in a high-level discussion of heads of state on the theme of the forum, Lead, Measure, Grow.
Up next is some international news. And Egypt has delivered verdicts for more than 700 people over a pro-Muslim Brotherhood sit-in after President Mohamed Morsi was ousted in 2013. The court confirmed 75 people's death sentences and life imprisonment for 47 others, including Islamic leaders. And that's all for international news. Up next, entertainment news.
Entertainment news this evening. On a rather sad note, legendary actor Jordan Amate has been laid to rest. His family described him as a responsible father who inculcated the virtues of humility, honesty, compassion and hard work in his children. The acting fraternity, on the other hand, eulogized the mentor, describing his acting skills as second to none.
8:30 a.m. Saturday, family, friends and movie actors gathered to bid veteran actor and mentor Jordan Amate a final farewell. After a short while, his remains was moved to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for his burial service.
So the remains of the legendary actor was received around 9:30 at the Latter-day Saint Church here in Accra for his burial service, where expectedly people from the acting fraternity, including the leadership of the Ghana Actors Guild, showed up to pay their final respect to Jordan Richardson Amate.
Paying him tribute, the widow and wife for 50 years described him as a perfect example of a dependable husband.
He loved me the way Christ said we should love one another. He was always there for me and dependable. I did my best to match his dedication and tireless devotion to my well-being.
To his children, Jordan was selfless, responsible, and simply incomparable. The accomplished actor played a remarkable role in stage plays and Ghanaian movies. He became a trailblazer and recipient of the Order of the Star of Volta. The Ghana Actors Guild also paid glowing tribute to him for his passion and commitment to his work. Jordan, aged 82, burst onto the scene in the 80s, featuring in an endless list of movies, including Fatal Decision, Who Killed Nancy, and Crossfire. The popular actor, together with contemporaries, took the industry by storm in the 90s, entertaining Ghanaians and winning many hearts. He left behind a wife and 5 sons.
And some more players in the movie industry have also eulogized the late Jordan Amate.
Because he never joked. He never relented on his effort to ensure that at every point in time he gave off his best. And I think that these are some of the features or characteristics that every actor will need. And surely we will miss him.
He was also somebody who put a lot of homework into what he did. Creating the kind of words that he came up with. I remember him doing sha, la, la, you remember that. And, it got all of us doing that. And he has so many, and so many were spoken today during the tribute. So he was a great person. And that's another thing, is to have the combination of being having the talent that God has given you and being a good person, and I think that legacy has been seen today from the various tributes that have come in.
In life, the only way you can leave a legacy and the only way you can excel is to be unique. He was a different person entirely. He had his own flair, he had his own skills, and he wasn't just like the normal actor.
Well, he certainly will be remembered, wouldn't he? May his soul rest in perfect peace. And that's how we round up News 360 this evening. From the News Hub here at Adiso Kanda, I'm Natalie Fort.
And I'm Issa Bonde. Keep watching TV3, and also there'll be more updates on our website, 3news.com.